Honorable Minister Odovescu, Your Excellencies, distinguished members of the Diplomatic Corps, dear guests, on behalf of the Board of Directors of the National Bank of Romania, it is my pleasure to welcome you here in the headquarters of the National Bank of Romania. I wish to congratulate the Romanian Ministry of Foreign Affairs for their initiative to organize this anniversary conference. Romania in NATO, 20 years of security and Euro-Atlantic values. It emphasizes Romania's role as a NATO member country and its route of economic development and political integration in the European Union and the NATO alliance, two pillars of stability, security, and progress. NATO celebrated on April 4th, 75 years since it was founded, and the founding members signed the North Atlantic Treaty. April has a special significance also for the National Bank of Romania. This year, on April 17th, our central bank celebrated 144 years since it was founded. Romania is privileged to be a full member of NATO, aligned in vision and in spirit to the Euro-Atlantic values of democracy, freedom, human rights, and the rule of law in the current global challenging context. We do remember the NATO summit in Prague in November 2002, when our country was invited to join the North Atlantic Alliance. And the day the Romania became an official NATO member by depositing the ratification instruments to the US Department of State on March 29th, the year 2004. Romania's valued political, conceptual, practical, and operational contributions to NATO are clearly reflected in its long-standing engagements. The 20-year anniversary of Romania's membership to NATO testifies to a strong unitary message regarding Romania's European and Euro-Atlantic identity. Now, in recognition of the Romania's special role as a committed NATO member country, under the theme 20 years since the Romania accession to NATO, the National Bank of Romania issued today, April 29th, a celebratory silver coin with a face value of 10 RON, weighing 31.1 grams, as well as a copper tomba coin with a face value of 1 RON, weighing 23.5 grams. The observer of the coins depicts the Romanian institutions that ratified the accession treaty, the Palace of the Parliament, the Romanian Parliament, the inscription Romania in the circular arc, the face value of 10 for the silver coin and 1 for the copper tomba coin, and the year of issue 2024. The reverse of the coins has the NATO logo, the inscription in Romania, Aderarea României la NATO, and 2004, the year of Romania accession to NATO. The maximum vintage of the silver and copper tomba coins are 5,000 coins each. Ladies and gentlemen, I will conclude my brief address. I'd like to thank you very much for your attention. I would like to invite Her Excellency, Mrs. Luminița Odovescu, Minister of Foreign Affairs, to take the floor. Thank you very much.
Bună dimineața, domnule guvernator Isărescu, Your Excellencies, dear students. Thank you all for coming today in this magnificent venue to celebrate a milestone in our recent history, 20 years of Romania as a NATO ally. We owe a debt of gratitude to Governor Mugur Isărescu, to our colleagues from the National Bank, both for welcoming and joining us in marking this very important anniversary, as well as for launching the anniversary coin. Distinguished audience, this year bears special significance. We celebrate 2 decades since Romania became member of NATO, an organization gathering states who value liberty, democracy, and individual rights, and stands firm in defending them. In 2004, we took back our rightful place in a community of shared values after a really dark half of century of dictatorship. In display of anniversary in numbers easy to remember, this year we also celebrate 35 years since the fall of communism and the 75th anniversary since the founding of NATO. For the many generations in this room, it is an opportunity to reflect on the twists of history that made possible a promising future for millions of people behind the Iron Curtain. For other European nations, such as Finland or Sweden, to join NATO after neutrality. If 35 years ago all nations in Europe saw liberty, today all nations loving freedom and democracy are threatened. Moreover, they must make firm choices. One of these choices is standing with Ukraine, helping Ukraine to win the war of aggression that Russia started equals supporting democracy and liberty in Europe, in North America, and anywhere in the world. While supporting Ukraine, we must also support its neighbors, like Republic of Moldova and Georgia. These countries must be able to pursue freely their foreign policy choices and their domestic endeavors and reforms which are compulsory in their progress towards the European integration. I will also refer to a campaign that my foreign ministry launched this year, the campaign Born in NATO, dedicated to students. Under this logo, we talk to teenagers and young adults about what we must defend, how difficult it was to achieve all the things they have now at hand, and also about things that must not change. First, about what needs to be defended. In a nutshell, it is a model of society where tolerance, understanding, and competence must be the norm, protecting our values, strengthening our societies go hand in hand with consolidating our military capacity and represent a prerequisite for a more solid link between Europe and North America. NATO was founded to protect democracy, freedom, and the rule of law. These values are compulsory for membership. Today, they are threatened in a direct manner by the aggression that Russia has initiated against Ukraine. If the military threat is clear, the challenge is sometimes less obvious. Through disinformation or distortion of the truth, our enemies try to sow distrust and question our strategic goals. My message to those who are born in NATO: many of you will vote for the first time this year. You have the liberty to choose, but choose being informed and make your own judgment, aside from what might catch your eye under the trending now hashtag. Second, on the difficulty to achieve what we enjoy at present. From chapters of negotiation to benchmarks, the road was bumpy some 20 years ago. This is not a complaint, as we in the administration were simply doing our job. But for the public, until the first results were significant enough to be felt, everyday life was not always easy. Again, I believe the governor knows a lot about what lay beneath a solid and appropriate monetary policy in difficult economic times. Last but not least, a few words on what must not change. Securing what has been achieved is a 24-hour task that needs a whole of government approach and a whole of society involvement. Throughout the years, Romania consolidated its strategic profile in NATO by standing shoulder to our allies wherever a crisis called for our presence or our contribution in allied mission or operation was required. At the same time as an ally, we have promoted the open door policy, as we know, on one hand, the importance of reforms for membership, and on the other, the transformative power of the preparation for the accession. NATO enlargement makes new members more stable and secure, and the alliance stronger. A solid network of like-minded partners have also been a key strength for NATO in the history. In these difficult times, we value more than ever our partners around the world, from those in G7 format to those in the Asia-Pacific. They are more than like-minded countries. They stand with us in supporting Ukraine while they are threatened and challenged in similar ways as we are in Europe. Together, we defend the rules-based international order and the fundamental principle of international law. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, anniversaries are opportunities to take stock, but also to look towards the future. I try to show what it means to be born in NATO, as opposed to being born during the Cold War. I believe that we must focus on what lies ahead. And in the panel that follows, you will have the opportunity to listen from some of the most knowledgeable people in Romania's diplomatic service, not least from the first NATO spokesperson who engaged with the free press in the restored democracies in Europe. Thank you for your attention. Și aș vrea doar să, și în limba română, ca să mulțumesc încă o dată domnului guvernator și colegilor de la Banca Națională pentru această oportunitate. Și sigur, în numele dumneavoastră îmi permit să invit colegii să viziteze și expoziția de aici, de la Banca Națională. Vă mulțumesc!
Mulțumesc, doamna ministru. Thank you, Minister. I'll second the Romanian Minister of Foreign Affairs words, and first and foremost, thanking our host, the National Bank of Romania. They know a few things about the importance of stability. Prosperity is impossible without stability. Security is impossible without stability. And NATO is a two-way street, as many of you know. The alliance is a defense alliance, a security alliance, but it's also a mutual security alliance, meaning that each of the members needs to be able first to ensure its own security and be able to provide for the security of its allies. That implies the sort of preparedness that the long track that the Minister of Foreign Affairs talked about it before membership. Ever since Romania has been a net contributor to the security of the region and the alliance, but all this was possible partly because the National Bank took Romania out of the hyperinflation of the 90s, that it took the necessary macroeconomic steps to allow for the sort of resources required by a stable contribution for national and allied security. So again, thanks to the National Bank for hosting us. The importance of security cannot be more underlined than the next two speakers that will join us via video link. First, Elina Valtonen, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Finland, followed by Tobias Billström, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Sweden, the alliance's two newest members. The reason they joined will be evident in both their addresses, but also in the conversation to follow after the short break afterwards. So without further ado, I'll require my colleagues from the technical... Everything's ready? Okay, thank you so much.
Esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests, ministers, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to extend my warmest congratulations to Romania and Romanian people on the 20th anniversary of Romania's accession into NATO. While you have been in the alliance for 20 years, Finland has just started our second year in NATO, an alliance that is stronger than ever. Romania and Romanian soldiers have played a crucial role in NATO-led missions, exercises and operations, and in strengthening our posture on the entire eastern flank. The alliance that you joined 20 years ago has undergone many changes since then. During this time, NATO has come back to its roots, to deterrence and defense. The security environment in the Black Sea region changed dramatically already 10 years ago after Russia's illegal annexation of Crimean Peninsula. With the fully fledged Russian war of aggression in Ukraine, the situation has become even more severe. With Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the Finnish people decided it was time to join NATO. Support for the membership remains the highest in the alliance at around 8%. We also gladly welcome Sweden to the alliance. Finally, all Nordic countries have joined NATO. Finland fully embraces deterrence and collective defense. Finns, in high numbers, declare themselves willing and able to defend the entire NATO territory if need be. According to the latest polls, 75% of the Finnish population would be willing to defend a NATO ally. As an example of our 360-degree approach, Finland will participate in NATO's air shielding mission in Romania, Bulgaria, and the Black Sea this summer. We must keep in mind that deterrence is not only defense. Deterrence is the ability to signal that we are prepared for all kinds of crises and exceptional circumstances. Deterrence is sending a message to our adversaries that we are ready to act when needed, using both military and civilian measures. Deterrence is resolve. Together, we will keep doing what NATO has successfully done for the past 75 years, keep our allies safe from any threat from any direction. Together, we safeguard the freedom and security of over 1 billion citizens. Together, we are stronger than ever. My sincere thanks to Romania for hosting this important conference. I wish everyone a successful event. Thank you so much.
Dear Minister Orobescu, dear distinguished guests, thank you for this possibility to address you here today among friends and allies. First of all, I would like to thank Romania and all allies that have supported our NATO accession and welcomed us as the 32nd ally. I would also like to congratulate Romania as well as Bulgaria, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Slovakia and Slovenia on your 20th year anniversary as NATO allies. The core of the European security order is the right of every European state to choose its own security arrangements. NATO's open door policy, which Sweden fully supports, reflects this right. Just as Romania and others did 20 years ago, Sweden has exercised this invaluable right. Applying for NATO membership on May the 18th, 2 years ago, was a historic step, a paradigm shift for our country. With this decision, we left behind more than 2 centuries of military non-alignment and entered a new foreign and security policy identity. It is a choice overwhelmingly supported in our parliament and by our people, and it is a choice based on the assessment that Russia would pose a long-term serious threat to European and Swedish security. Russia's actions not only violate Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, but also threaten our common security. This is evident both in the Baltic Sea region as well as the Black Sea region, where Russia's aggression against Ukraine has serious implications for Romania and other Black Sea states. Unity and solidarity will be Sweden's guiding light as a NATO member. We will share burdens, responsibilities and risks with other allies. And the core of this solidarity is our determined commitment to the collective defense of all allies. We will take a shared responsibility for NATO's collective security throughout its 3 core tasks, and we will contribute to strategic deterrence and to NATO's 360 degrees approach. We look forward to cooperating closely with Romania in order to safeguard NATO's eastern flank. Sweden will also contribute with unique capabilities on the ground, in the air, at sea. Our support to Ukraine is a fundamental dimension of this. Sweden will assume its portion of burden sharing. We are strengthening our defense and doubling our defense budget. From this year onwards, Sweden meets the NATO spending standard of 2% of GDP. This is important for NATO security and for burden sharing. And we will act with determination, resolve and in full solidarity with allies in the fight against terrorism. To conclude, Sweden is safer in NATO and NATO is stronger with Sweden as an ally. Thank you.
Prosperity was mentioned. Romania's GDP trebled since Romania joined NATO. That's the concrete effect of that security umbrella that the Romanian minister, the Finnish minister, the Swedish minister referred to. It is telling that we're at the National Bank of Romania, since this is the only event in my memory that we're ahead of schedule. With that, thanking you all for your attention. The first official part of the opening of this conference concludes. We'll take a 20 minutes coffee break and then we'll return for more work and conversation with our colleagues. A conversation that will cover both how Romania got to be a member of the alliance, the circumstances of those times, how those changed, and what is the present situation of Romania as a full member of the alliance. So much looking forward to that conversation. Coffee is served. Thank you.